and hopefully that'll connect. And if that does connect, it'll go to Facebook and people on Facebook can watch it, but they won't be able to participate like you people can. Righto. So that's now, so we're now going to Facebook Live. So I will just drop, no, I won't drop. There's Roger Marks has joined us. I'll just open that up again and I'll go to a different page. Righto, I've just got to work out what I've got to do here now. I've got to shut that down, get that out of the way and go to my Word document. I need to go and share. I've got so many things open here. Share screen, and I need to share my text editor. Righto. So you should be able to see a text editor page now.
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is just use that to show you just a few computer tricks initially. Because I know some people aren't on top of a few little simple things you can do in on a computer. One of the things that I've got, I get a lot of emails because I've got a lot of web pages. So I have to reply to a lot of emails, and quite often the reply is the same as a reply I've given to 20 other people. So to make that easier for me, I've got this little program which is called Text Expander. You can probably get it for Windows as well, on a Mac, of course. But I do lots of talks around Brisbane, and people often ask me for my biography. So with this Text Expander program, somebody's got some feedback. All I have to do is type in. So what you've got to do is pick a short abbreviation that this program recognizes, and then it fills in all the text. So if someone asks me for my biography, I'll just type in BIO. Boom, there it is. Okay. I didn't have to type that out. I've already typed it out, saved it in the text editor, and it's there. Now, is somebody logged into 2 sessions, watching it on 2 devices? Mary, is that you?
I hope not. Yep.
Yeah, I think it is. Can you turn your... Why don't I just mute you? I'll try to work out how to mute you all. I'm going to mute you all, okay?
Yep.
Select the microphone.
Well, at least I hope I am. Okay, so hopefully you're all muted now. So that makes it a lot easier for me. I don't have to do a lot of typing. I just type in BIO, and you've got to make sure you pick a short phrase that isn't a word that you would normally use. So if the other thing, I just need to I just want to highlight my mouse. There we go. So you should see my mouse a little bit easier now. It's got a red circle around it. So
we're not seeing your mouse.
You can't see my mouse. Can't see that red thing.
What red thing?
You can't see that. No.
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it on my.
I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, we've
Righto.
got it, Peter.
So how do I delete all that? Do people know how to easily do that? There's a few ways. I can go Control A. Hang on, I've got to click into it first. Control A selects it all, then hit the back arrow and that'll delete it. The other way is I could just double click on Yeah, it won't delete everything. If I wanted to delete a paragraph, see the word information here where the mouse is now. If I double click on information with my mouse, it highlights that word. If I triple click, it highlights the whole paragraph, and then I can just hit the delete key to delete it. So I just thought I'd show you a few little tricks like that as well. So I'll do Control A to select it all, delete it. Now, if someone wants a short bio, I just type SHORTBI, and when I hit O, there it is, short bio. If I want, someone asks me for my postal address, I go POBOX, boom, there's my postal address. I often have to say many thanks, much appreciated. So I'd go MTMA, many thanks, much appreciated. One of the big myths out there on the internet is the Brisbane line. Whenever I see anything on the Brisbane line, I'll say, hey, that didn't exist. And I go BNELINE, and there's all my research on the Brisbane line with all the links to all the evidence that proves what I've said in the paragraph. So if you do a lot of emails, this program, text editor or something similar, is a very powerful tool. It helps you save a lot of time. So Zoom, so instead of Zoom, I put ZOOM, and then I've got some Zoom tips and tricks, which I sent you in an email in the last day or two. Okay. Right. I'll just get out of that now. Stop that share. And I'll now go to share a browser. There it is there, share. So you should be able to see my browser now. So what I'm going to do now, what am I going to do now? One of the things that I often do is I want to search if something that I want to know about, whether I've got it on my website. So I want to search for some terms just on my site. And you can do this with any website. So again, using that text editor program, I can just go SITEE, and it replace the word SITEE with site.ozatwar.com. And if you then type Kitty Hawk, perhaps, it'll search my whole site for all the web pages online that have got the word Kitty Hawk in it. Okay, so I've got 340 web pages on my site with the word Kitty Hawk. So if we wanted to search a different site, you'd just put in the address there instead of ozatwar.com. You leave the www out, but if you want to search a site for anything, you put site, the address of the site without the W's, space, and then the word that you want to look for on that site. So it just searches that site only, okay? Just another thing with web searches, if you say we do a search for, just to make Bob happy, B24 Liberator. Okay, so what have we got? It actually doesn't tell me because when I did the preparations for this, I did it on Chrome, not on this, but on Chrome, when I do that search, it actually tells me how many results you get for that search. And it's quite a large number. I don't know, I'm just working out where I am with my little thing here. It's quite a large number. When you're doing searches, one of the powerful things to use is the inverted commas. If you use inverted commas, it limits the search because that previous search looked for B24, but it also looked for Liberator. So, you know, the Liberator of Greece, it'll find the web page about the Liberator of Greece, whoever he was. But if you put the inverted commas, it only finds search results for B24 Liberator. It doesn't find all those other, the two words. Okay. I'm getting feedback now. Where will I just, right. So the other thing, like, if you wanted to find B-24 Liberators at Garbutt Airfield, the best way to do it, if you spell it right, would be to do that, to have two lots of inverted commas. So Garbutt Airfield is a phrase where two words are always together, and B-24 Liberator, two words always together. The only issue with that is it would miss results for, say, B-24D or B-24E, or I don't know if that's right, Bob, but it, so rather than doing it without all the inverted commas, you'll narrow down your research results quite considerably. Okay. What I'll do now is start to show you some of the research websites that I use. One of the first places I often go to is this one, which is the World War II nominal roll. It's the Department of Veteran Affairs website. And it was hosted on the Australian War Memorial website until recently, but swapped to Department of Veteran Affairs in recent times. So I thought, hello.
Also, please turn off your video to minimize bandwidth issues for the presenter. You can unmute your audio temporarily by holding down your spacebar while you talk.
Who's that? Who's talking?
Releasing the spacebar.
Hang on, what was that last bit?
You can unmute your audio temporarily by holding down your spacebar while you talk. Releasing the spacebar mutes your audio again.
Thank you. Can I mute you all again so that you're not interrupting?
Don't forget, we can all see what you're doing when your camera is turned on.
And
It's better done.
Well, my main problem is I can't get audio. I can't get sound. And I usually get sound by visiting a part here where I can get a right click and get various things, particularly the bloody
excuse me, can I interrupt?
speaker thing.
Hello.
Now that's not showing here.
Righto. I think I've muted them. Okay. So this is the Department of Veteran Affairs website called, it's World War II nominal roll. Last year, Trevor Potter gave a very interesting talk about his father, who was a photographer in the RAF during World War II. Now, I happen to know, based on his talk, that his first name was Clifford. So if I go to this and type in Clifford and then do a search, it'll come up with all the Cliffords who were enlisted in the military, both Army, Navy, Air Force, during World War II. So there's 3 Cliffords. So woe is me. Which one is he? I know which one he is because there's only one there in the RAAF, and I know he was in the RAAF. Okay, so if I click on that, I can now get a little bit more information on Trevor's father. There it is there. So I've got his service number. He was born in Brisbane on the 12th of May, 1915. Enlisted at East Brisbane, etc. I guess his wife, might be Edith, and he was discharged on the 20th of December 44 at 3 Personnel Depot. Okay, so you can do lots of searches on this World War II nominal roll website. It's very, very handy. Now that I know his name is Clifford Vernon James Potter, I can now go to the National Archives website. So this is their website. By the way, I'll send out a little document tomorrow or later tonight if I get time, giving you the links to all these websites, okay? But this is the search area on the National Archives of Australia website. So I always log in as a guest. I don't bother to register. So we know his name is Clifford, Clifford, Vernon James Potter. I spelled it all right, looks like it. Do a search. There's 2 files on Clifford Potter. One shows that he was laid to rest in the crematorium at Mount Thompson in Brisbane in 1974. The other one has got a digitised file. So if I click on that little that page symbol there, I can now open the file on Trevor's father. Okay, so there's a 77-page document on his father. If I've sort of had a bit of a look through the file, but if I go to, so I've typed in 11 here on where the go box is. Wait till I just need to do something again. Where are we? Annotate, spotlight to highlight my pointer again. And now if I hit go, it'll take me to that page. So you can see that he was at Amberley for a while in November 1940. He was at Point Cook for a while in the same month. He was at Bundaberg, as we know from Trevor's talk. He was in number 71 Reserve Squadron. Number 8, I think it is. Number 8 SFTS at Bundaberg.
Peter, we don't have the document displayed.
Oh, don't you? Oh, because it's in a separate box. Okay, thank you for that. Righto, let me stop the share, share the screen and go to that one there. Yes, can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes, we've got it now. Thanks, Peter.
Righto, you can see it now. Okay, good. So in this area here, I just need to, oops, I don't want to do that. Annotate, spotlight. Righto. So in this box area here is where I was reading all that information from. So number 3 SFTS at Amberley, number 1 SFTS Point Cook, number 8 SFTS, I think it is, Bundaberg, 71 Reserve Squadron, etc. Now, if I go to a different page, page 40, if I just type 40 in the go box and press enter, so he worked at the Courier Mail before he joined the military.
Are you there, Peter?
Yeah.
I'm not receiving. I'm receiving you, but can you see me?
Who's that?
It's Roy Fordham.
Where? No, I can't see you, mate. But can you hear me?
I'm here, Roy Fordham. Yes, I've got my camera on and I can see you.
But you can't see the picture.
Yes, I can see your picture.
No, the picture of the National Archives website.
Oh, no. All I can see is you speaking into the mic, and I can see Robert Livingstone.
Okay, go to the top right and click Speaker View.
Okay. Okay, should be able to hear me now.
Yep. Okay.
I can hear you, Roy.
So you're
Oh,
okay
yeah,
now?
okay, good, mate. Who's that?
Warwick.
Can you
Okay.
can you see the National Archives screen now?
I can't see archives.
Did you click on Speaker View at the top right?
Top right.
Near the top right, not at the very top right, but
No, nothing happening. I've got Courier Mail's come up.
that's what you need to see.
Okay, what do I need to see now?
Okay, I'll mute you now so that if I can work out how to do that. Mute all. Righto. So there's a reference from the editor-in-chief of the Courier Mail for Trevor's father. So if I now go to a different page, quite often in these files, you can find a photo. So there's a photo of Trevor's father in that file.
Okay.
Do some searches, right?
So
So
I only just got the photos of you guys, and I can't see anything else there. Oh, Warwick Henry, yes, I've got you down there. Robert, I've got you.
Okay, Roy still not.
Who else have I got? Rex, I've got Rex, Trevor Potter, and Liz.
okay, we need to move on. So
Okay, go for it.
Righto, can you should be able to see, why don't I just go back to my my iPad so I can,
NAA record search at the moment.
yeah, I just want to make sure that I know what's on the screen. Righto, so we can do lots of other searches. So we can do a new search or a refined search. I just go to refined search, delete that. So we'll do a search for B24 Liberator, just to keep Bob happy. So there's a few results, not as many as I thought there might be. Did I spell it right? Yeah, I did. So that's another type of search you can do. If I now do a search for Kitty Hawk, we should get a few more. So we've now got 608 results. Now, if you look,
I believe I've muted that. So
if you could all stay muted, please, that would be really good. If you look on the right here in the digitized column, you'll see that a number of files are digitized, where they've got this little page symbol, if you like. One little trick is they're the ones that you really want to look at, right? Because you can see things. So what you do is you put your mouse on top of this column here, the digitized item column, click on it, and it then sorts them all so that all the digitized ones are at the start. So you can then click on that link. I won't do it because it opens in a separate box and you can't see it, as we found out earlier. So as you can see, quite a lot of files on the Kitty Hawk. You can do all sorts of searches there. You can find a heck of a lot of aircraft accident reports on this site. It's where I get most of my information for my web pages on aircraft accidents. Once you know a serial number or whatever, it always helps, and you can do a search and find things. The other thing is there are lots of war diary type documents, and for the RAF, they're called operations record books, operations record book. So if we do a search for that, okay, so you can see that some are digitized and some aren't. So if I, again, go to the top of that column, click on digitized item, I can now search through all the ones that have been digitized. So here's a unit history for number 1 squadron from July 55 through to May 58. And, you know, 3 squadron, 4 squadron, 5 squadron, go to the next page, 9 squadron, 10, 11. There's just oodles of them. And you can look at all those and you can download them. You just, you know, like those pages I had up before on Trevor's father, you just right click on the page and click and select save as and save that to your hard drive. So,
Peter, while you've got that open, it's Fredo here. Can I just mention to you that we've actually spent 100 grand this year getting more of them digitised. So just because they're not there today doesn't mean they won't be there in the coming months. So I've got a program running that we're just going to throw $50,000 to $100,000 a year to get as many of these digitised till we run out. Okay.
Thank you very much. David, by the way, is from the Air Force History Group, and he's in charge of this sort of area that he's just been talking about.
Wonderful.
Thanks for that, David.
Thank you.
So righto. So that's sort of a brief. The other thing, for files, I'll just click on that again so that we see. Okay, we don't. Let's do another search. I'll just do that one again. So see these files here that aren't digitized. Fredo's going to get them digitized, but let's say this was something else, not one of these. Well, let's go to something else. Let's go to Kitty Hawk. Okay, so see this file here at the top. It's not digitized. If you click on that, okay, it brings up a little bit more detail, giving you all the information on that file. But if you go over to the right here, see where it says request a copy? You can click on that and request for that file to be digitized. Now, you will have to pay a little bit of money though. It could be $25 to $30. However, we're lucky that David Fredo is going to digitize all those operations records books for the RAAF, so that'll be great when that happens. Okay, so that's the National Archives website. The other site that I use quite a lot is the Trove newspaper website, and that's it there. So just continuing with the Clifford Potter theme, I'll just type in Clifford Potter and so we've got 33 people online at the moment. So there's, where are we? So it's come up with 52,210 results. Isn't that amazing? You didn't know your father was that popular, Trevor. But what it's done is it's searched for everyone with the name Clifford and everyone with the name Potter. It hasn't searched for Clifford Potter. So if I do that, remember I said the power of the inverted commas? So 52,210, it's dropped it back down to 601 results. So now we're looking at results for that. Wait till I just go to decade. And right, so just do that again. Right. So if I look at this one here, the third one down, who's unmuted themselves? Righto. Trevor, do you recognise those people there? It's your parents, I believe, on their wedding day. So Aircraftsman Clifford Potter, RAF, and his bride photographed as they left the Holy Trinity Church in the Valley last evening after their marriage. Mrs. Potter was Miss E. Flay. So that's on Sunday, the 15th of December, 1941. So if I go back now and go to this one here, there's another article on their wedding. I don't know whether you've seen these before, Trevor. So a fragrant bouquet of carnations, frangipani, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's an article on their wedding. The Trove newspaper website is fantastic for research, for family tree research, and particularly useful for my military research. I can highly recommend it. If I just go back again. And
Peter, while you're going back there, I probably should, Fredo again, I should mention to everyone, as what we're doing with the stuff for the NAA, we've got a minor project running to get the entire selection of Air Force newses digitised.
Oh, yeah.
And OCRs going back to 1960. And we've even picked up a few of them that were issued in, I think it was 1940, that came out in the Wings magazine. So
Yeah.
That project's starting now, and they'll appear on Trove in the newspaper sections as they get completed. So you'll start seeing those come out in the next couple of months.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for that. Righto, there's another article here, engagements announced. So there is a photo of Miss Edith Emily Play announcing her engagement to aircraftsman Clifford Potter. Okay, so you can see just how powerful Trove is, that, you know, there's lots of records there that are just waiting to be found. Okay, now that's the Trove newspaper website. Now I'll take you to the Trove picture website. And you can see up the top here, the different Trove areas. There's the digitised newspapers that I was just in. Now we're on the photos. What this does is search all the different photographic databases around Australia for the libraries that contribute to Trove. So it'll search the State Library of Victoria, State Library of Queensland, New South Wales, the National Archives website photos, Australian War Memorial photos, lots and lots of council library photo databases. You can search them all through Trove picture website. So again, following the theme of Clifford Potter, I'll do a search for Clifford Potter. We found 77 results for Clifford Potter. Now, you'll see here, one here for Sergeant Clifford Vernon Potter, photographer at work in his office. If you click on the view online, the little green thing here, that'll bring up another page, and hopefully there he goes. There he is at work with some nice aeroplane photos in the background. So there are a lot of his photos available. These are all his photos that we're seeing here. These are they're all on the ones that are got the green boxes. They're all on the Australian War Memorial website. Okay, there may be some others. So here's one here. That's not him though. That's so I didn't. I didn't put the inverted commas. I'll see if that changes it. It says 77 results. Takes it down to 48. Okay. So here's one that he took. That's in the State Library of Queensland, this photo here of lightning bolts in the skies over the Royal Brisbane Hospital. There's another State Library photo of his. So they'll be probably when he was working with the Courier Mail. Okay. So that's the Trove picture website. What I'll do now is go to what's called the Roll of Honour database, which is on the Australian War Memorial. Now, the Australian War Memorial revamped their website about 2 years ago and absolutely wrecked it. Absolutely wrecked it. I won't keep talking, otherwise I might get a bit rude. But anyway, after me badgering them quite a lot, they reinstated this search area for the Roll of Honour. And this is an area where you can search for our war dead in all the different conflicts that we were involved in over the years. They actually got rid of this search area and dropped everybody into a big search bucket along with all the objects and the books and everything. And I got a bit upset and got stuck into them quite a bit, and they reinstated this search area. So if we look at this one, you can see there's 102,888 service personnel who died, who you can look for on this website in the various conflicts. And down the left-hand side here, you can see the various conflicts that are involved. I focus on World War II, so I'll just sort of click on that, and that reduces that 102,000, I think it was, down to 39,655. One of the powerful things I can do with this website is sometimes I get told about an aeroplane crash and all they can tell me is the date. You know, they've got it out of someone's diary, a date, an aeroplane crash somewhere. So what I can do is, and they said that people died in the crash. So what I can do is type in the date. So let's pretend that, you know, we heard a story that 2 RAF personnel were killed on the 18th of April, 1941. So if I type in 1941 dash 04 dash 18, have I got that right? Yeah, looks like it. 410418, and then press search. Okay, this will give me the number of people who died on that date, on the 18th of April 1941. So I can do a reverse, what I call a reverse search, looking for people who died on that date. So we're looking for Air Force people. So these first few are Army people. So Mr. Robert Adams, Carl Albert Manish, etc. So there's Army. Here's a Operation Training Unit guy, but he's a Royal Air Force. So he's not an RAAF, he's Royal Air Force. So he was probably killed over here during the war. It's more Army people, more Army people, more Army, Army. So no Air Force so far. So there's only 2 pages of them. So we should hit pay dirt on this next page. Okay, so here we go. Ian Lambton Menzies, number 24 Squadron. Okay, that's 1 person. Army. Kenneth Ian Scott, 2nd person. And the rest are all Army. Okay, so they're the 2 people who died in that plane crash.
Ravenswood, Peter.
Who was that?
Graham Aspinall, Ravenswood, Peter.
Yeah, let me get there. Yeah. Yeah. Righto. So you've lost, I've lost my train of thought now. Where am I? Okay, so that's the 2 people that were involved. So now that I know those 2 names, what I'll do now is go back to, if I can find it, the National Archives website. Where are we? DVA. There we go. So I'll now do a search for one of those 2 guys. I'll do a search for Kenneth Ian Scott. So what I'm trying to do now is work out what type of aircraft and where it happened. Okay, so if I go to the National Archives and do a search for Kenneth Ian Scott. So here we go. First one, Ravenswood. As Graham said, he stole my thunder. And I now know that they crashed in a Wirraway, and the serial number of the Wirraway is A20-117. So from just knowing the date only, and that it was a RAF plane, I've now found out who they were and where they crashed, what type of aircraft, and the serial number of that aircraft. Now that I know the serial number of the aircraft, let's do a search for A20-117. Hang on, here's the accident report. So I've now got the accident report and it's digitized. So I can now go in and look up all the details and, in my case, create a website, which I've already got on this crash. But that's the sort of thing you can do using the Roll of Honour website. And with the Roll of Honour, when you actually know a person's name and you find their page in the Roll of Honour, there's also often some links to other information on that person. So not always, but sometimes there is. The other website I'll show you is the Commonwealth War Graves Commission website. Again, a fairly useful website. So we'll now do a search for Scott again, that guy who was killed in that plane, which we now know all the details about. So I've typed in his last name and his first name, and I'll do a search for Kenneth Scott, Kenneth Kenneth, what's his name? Kenneth Ian Scott. So there's a Kenneth Scott signalman. So he's an army guy. That's not him. That's not him. Here he is, 18th of April, 1941. Kenneth Ian Scott. He was laid to rest at the Mount Thompson Crematorium and is located in the columbarium wall at Mount Thompson near Mount Gravatt there. He died at the age of 25. Okay, so just from that date of the crash, I've now found pretty much everything about that crash. I found out where he was buried. I could probably do the same for the other gentleman who died in that particular fatal crash. So Commonwealth War Graves site is fairly useful as well. The other site that's on the War Memorial website it's sort of similar to the honour roll, but the roll of honour. The roll of honour is for service personnel. The commemorative roll is for civilians who died in military conflict in this database. So let's pick something where we think we might be able to find some information. So we know that Darwin was bombed on the 19th of February, 1942. Before I do that, you can see here that there's 3,209 civilians who died in military conflict. And that's in all of these campaigns. So it's going right back to the Sudan fight, whatever that was, in 1885, the Boer War. There were 96 civilians, 2,230 in the First World War, 876 in the Second, etc. So let me go here and go 1942-02-19. So this will tell me, hopefully, I'll be able to find out the names of the civilians who died in the Japanese attack on Darwin on the 19th of February, 1942. So I'll do that search. So here we go. So MB Neptuna was one of the ships that was bombed in Darwin Harbour. So there's a Chinaman, Mr. Chan Kao, another Chinaman, and a whole heap of other Chinamen, all on that MB Neptuna. The Mananda is another ship that was bombed by the Japanese in Darwin Harbour. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but that's an egg cup off the MV Mananda that my father got. The Mananda was not sunk, but it later on, was repaired and became a passenger ship up and down the east coast of Australia. And my father caught it from Townsville to Brisbane on one occasion and bought a few egg cups as souvenirs. So just continuing, so Cecil Cross was on the Neptuna as well. Robert Davidson was on the Neptuna, another Chinaman, more people. So these are all people who died in Darwin on the 19th of February. So far, it's all of the ones that we've seen. If I go to the second page, yep, still all Darwin, Mananda, Neptuna, Mananda, Neptuna. And if I go one more page, Mananda, Neptuna. So all 43 of those people that we just looked at all died as civilians on the 19th of February, 1942. Presumably, if I click on their name, I'll click on Mr. Wontak. He was a general servant in the Merchant Navy. And he's got a memorial in the Hong Kong Memorial in Hong Kong. If I just go back and try and find someone who's not a Chinese person, maybe this guy, Robert Henry Stobo. So there you can see he was a deck cadet again in the Merchant Navy, and he was buried in Berrima War Cemetery. Okay, so that's the commemorative roll. I'll just go to something totally different now. What this is a UXO map for Australia, unexploded ordnance. Okay, we've got 33 people online at the moment, by the way. So if I zoom into Brisbane area, why did it do that? Hang on, I just need to move a few things out of the way. Righto. Here we go. Get rid of that. There we go. Okay. So where am I? I got to work out where I am. I've lost my track. Okay, on the north side of Brisbane. Some people might remember a place called Camp Strathpine. That was the US Army base. They had a number of live firing ranges. So if I click on this one here, it says there's substantial UXO in that particular area. So that's the Clear Mountain area. There's a lot of UXO. If I click on this one here, again, substantial occurrence. So they had live firing ranges in that area. If I just go out and see this area here on the north side near Albany Creek, just near the Bunya track at Bunyaville, or the Jinka track, sorry. I've actually been here. I've got a web page on this. This area at Bunyaville was used to as a demolition area for ammunition at the end of the war. In fact, if you go there and do a bit of metal detecting, you'll find a lot of Japanese ammunition in this area. There's a little timber bunker on the side of a hill looking down towards a creek bed where there's a lot of craters and lots of big bits of shrapnel where they were detonating ammunition after the war. I actually got an email today from somebody who lives at Tolga on the Atherton Tablelands, and they've found on their property like hundreds of ordnance rounds that are about this long and they look like anti-tank rounds. He's got them all stacked up. He's got them all stacked up. They're all still live. And I'm talking to the UXO people about that this afternoon. See this area here? That's where they dumped all the chemical weapons after World War II. So there is oodles and oodles of chemical weapons, mustard gas, lewisite, just off the tip of Cape Morton in this area here, off the 100 fathom line. And there's looks like there's some extra hot spots. What does that say? It was used for the dumping of lots of ammunition as well. So there's 155mm loose shells. They probably had mustard gas in them. Lots of weapons. There's lots of all sorts of weapons dumped out there as well. If anyone wants them, I've got all the GPS locations for all the stuff that was dumped off the coast. Won't do you much good though, because it's all too deep. But you'd be surprised what was dumped off there. Lots of ammunition, boxed general stores, including bayonets in that little spot there. And 8,000 tonnes of chemical munitions. I'll just click on another little hotspot here. That's 1/2 ton of mustard gas in that area. Boxed rifle barrels and sulphur bottles. But it's a fairly handy site. I'll just go up to, so that's the Shoalwater Bay training area. I'll just go up to where, here we go. So on the Atherton Tablelands, that was a very big military Australian Army training area during World War II. And so you can see lots of UXO to be found up there. And that's where this guy emailed me today, the photos of all the what looked like anti-tank rounds that he found on his property. Okay, so I'll send you the link to that particular site. It's quite a useful site. Another site that I use a fair bit is all about Brisbane maps, aerial photos of Brisbane in 1946. So when you click on the link that I'll give you, you come to this page, you then go to map contents, and then you go down to aerial photos, and then you click on aerial, and then you can click on the modern day, what you can see today. So we'll do that, and we'll zoom in on near the old Eagle Farm Airfield area. So that's Trade Coast Central these days. So if I now click over the left here, you can see two buttons. So I've currently got 2012 selected, and I'll click on 1946. So this is what the area looked like in 1946. So I can go all over Brisbane and see what Brisbane looked like in 1946. That there is the remains of a US Army camp. And of course, the US Army had tents in both racetracks. They were all full of full of tents. You can still see some of the little buildings there by the looks of it. That area there is an Australian Army ammunition restoration depot. That's a big US Army storage area. Headley Park, it was called. If we go back over here, you'll see Camp Meander, which was an American stores area during the war, and the Australian Army took it over after the war. If I zoom in here, there's Hangar 7, where the Japanese aircraft were refurbished, and there's the Allison engine test stands, which are still standing there today in this area here. And that's some of the original hangars that were there during World War II. A few more were erected later on in here, which I think came from Canberra, from memory. Okay, so that's Brisbane maps. I'll just zoom out a bit. Very useful for family history research or military research like I do. So it's little bit like using Google Earth. You can turn off these layers where you can see street names. I can turn them off, but I won't at the moment. And you can actually go down to property boundaries, outlines as well if you want to. Okay, so the other similar type of mapping website is called Six Maps, SIX Maps, which is Sydney. So this is part of Sydney during a modern day photo. What I want to do is find the 1943 photos for Sydney. So I go up here to the right and I click on base maps, and then down the bottom here it says looking for 1943 imagery. It's not very intuitive, is it? But if I click on that, there's the 1943 imagery in the center there. So if I click on that, it will now show me when it loads. Is it loading? Here we go. So that's that same area now as it was in 1943. And Daryl, if you have a look here, you'll see something fairly familiar. It's a heavy anti-aircraft gun station in that park area. And if you have a look a little bit closer over here, you can also see that there were more guns laid out here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 there. They're smaller guns by the looks of it. I don't know what sort of gun they would have been. But if you go down the bottom here, there's another gun site. That's a heavy anti-aircraft gun site. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 3.7-inch heavy anti-aircraft guns. Now you can, similar to that Brisbane website, you can go all over Sydney, looking at all of Sydney in 1943. And when you zoom into a lot of the parks and areas, you'd be surprised at how many remnants of World War II you find, like zigzag slit trenches and more of those anti-aircraft gun sites. There's quite a lot of them around Sydney. So that's Six Maps. That area I was in where that park was with all the gun sites, that was Rose Bay. You can also do a search, like, you know, that up the top left there, I've just typed in Rose Bay in the search area up here, and it'll take me to Rose Bay. And I'll just close that down. So that's the Rose Bay area. And, you know, you can explore the old forts that are around, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Now, there's a similar mapping service for Townsville. It has a lot more coverage, though, of all different years. And it's a little bit slow to load as well. I'll just wait a little while. So what you do here is you go to change visible layers. I'll turn a few of these layers off. The base layer and display group. You can see one here called aerial photography. So I'll turn that one on and I'll click on the plus button, and then that opens up different years. So at the moment it's on aerial photos 2016. So if I zoom in and have a look, sort of go generally the Strand area. So this is the Strand along here, and Fort Kissing Point up the top left, and the casino area down there. So if I now go up to here and I select 1938, that will show us what the area looked like in 1938. So there's Fort Kissing Point, what it looked like, and you can see there were lots of salt pans that hadn't been developed. And that's Fort Kissing Point. There's the Strand. This area here was developed during World War II for the heavy anti-aircraft guns and a couple of Bofors guns as well. And we might see that when I change to a different year shortly. And I'll do that now. So 1941, that's what it looked like in 1941. I'll show you the harbour. You can see they're reclaiming land here. And that's the western breakwater, and then the eastern breakwater out there. During World War II, they had all bunkers and observation posts, etc., on this breakwater. Unfortunately, there's no aerial photo for during the war. The closest for seeing any World War II remnants is 1952. So I'll just zoom out a bit. And if I go back now where that park is, so when you drive along the Strand now, you drive along here and then you do a loop around this park. And that's where the heavy anti-aircraft guns were during World War II. So as you can see, there's lots of years that you can look at. It's helped me quite a lot locate military camps and bunkers and various things. Quite a useful web page. The other web page is the Queensland Imagery web page. How many people have we got online at the moment? 30. So you go to this, you can find it easily just by typing in Google Q Imagery, all one word, this word here, and it'll take you to this website. You just got to acknowledge, click Get Started, and then what you do is do a search. So let's do a search for Archerfield. Whoops, Archerfield. So hit the search box. It brings up Archerfield, Brisbane City. Click on that. Okay, so there's Archerfield, all highlighted. Now, if I think I've got to click on this. No, that's not what I do. I've got to do search again. And now it'll find, if I've done this right, it'll find the maps. So these are all the maps, sorry, aerial photographs, should I say, that they've got available on Q Imagery. So 2017, 2009, 2005, but I want to look at the old ones. That's my area of interest. So if I go way down, there's some 1944 photos. So if I click over to the left here, there's a little arrow pointing to the right. If I click on that, it drops down the various photos. So if I now hover over each one of these, it'll show the photo outline. You can see the boxes at the top. I go down to the next one. Where did it do? I think it brought it to the bottom. If I click on view now, it'll show that, oh no, it's at the top. It'll show that photo. It's not the one I want. Maybe it won't, oh, it's getting close. Hang on. I'll click on that one. Righto. So that's 1944. Where are we? Oh yeah, okay. So the terminal building's here somewhere. So this is Archerfield in 1944, 1st of May, 1944. Okay, so you can see a number of aircraft there. It's not the best of photos. And you can see the hangars where the British were towards the end of the war. Now, if you wanted to download that particular photo, you click on the download button to the right here, where I am here, and select raster image. So raster image, and then that will then bring you to a save as box, so you can then save that to whatever directory that you want to save it to on your hard drive. Okay, so that's Queensland Imagery. Again, a fairly useful website to use for research. There is a, I'll see if I can show you this one. It's a very large file that you can download. It's taking a while to download because it's 66.5 megabytes. This is a August 1943 map of Brisbane. And again, I'll send you the links to this. It's taking an eternity to load, but it's got a significant amount of detail on it, as you'll see. I need to use these. You know, as you're going around the river, it'll give the names of all the wards, for instance. You know, there's the Howard Smith wards. Gives you names of all the buildings and all sorts of things. So if you're doing family tree research and the military research that I'm doing, is quite a useful little map. Okay, the other one, I don't know whether Fredo's still online, is the Air Power Air Force website, Air Power Development Centre website. It's quite a good site, and I've taken you to this link on publications. So there is a significant number of publications available online on this website. Are you still there, David? Fredo? No, he might have gone. Can't see him. There used to be a lot of books on here. There's not so many now, but there are some, and they're all, and most of them are digitized. So you can click on this download link here, and if I go to the Pathfinder volumes, there's, you know, different publications. Now it has got a shopping cart, but if you click on download PDF, you can actually download it for free. Okay, so most of those documents. Hello?
At the top of the page, there's a link to archived publications, and the books are in there, I believe.
Oh, are they? Where's that, no? Archive.
Just under where it says publications in the text.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, right. Because I downloaded lots of great books some time ago. Where do I go now?
Oh, that's a good question. They've changed it.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's different to when I last used it because there were quite a lot of excellent, you know, published books, but now it's mostly papers and things, but there's still a lot of good stuff there. Okay, I'll just mute everyone again. Okay, so what's next? So that's the Air Power Development Centre. I'll go to War Diaries for the Australian Army. So on the Australian War Memorial website, and again, this is where the War Memorial have stuffed these up as well. It used to be really good once. They've stuffed it up. So you can look at lots of war diaries for different military units in the Australian Army. So there's your selection there. I'll go to infantry, and I'll go to battalions, not brigades. And I'll see if I can find my father's battalion, which was the 42nd Battalion. So there it is there. So now online, so then it's broken up into date periods. So he would have been in that May, June 42. So now there's the May, June 42 war diary for the 42nd Infantry Battalion. Now, the War Memorial, as I said earlier, really wrecked their website years ago. This used to be much better. You could actually read what you see here. These are low-res pictures now. You can hardly read it at all. And there was also a link so you could download the whole PDF in one file. You no longer can do that. You can, however, click on enlarge and load it up so that you can actually read it. But if you wanted to save it, you then have to save each page rather than save, a PDF with all of the pages in one file. You've now got to save individual pages. So you just right-click on the picture and select Save As, Save Image As. Okay, so for those who don't know how to do that. So lots of war diaries there, as you can see. Those who have an interest in the Royal Australian Navy, there are similar, I'll call them war diaries, but the Navy call them reports of proceedings for Her Majesty's ships and establishments, shore establishments. So each one of these you can click on and find, war diaries or proceedings, as they call them. So all these air ones, these are the sort of RAF associated ones for air sea rescue. So if I click on Airbird, there's a file here for April 45 to April 46. Click on that. And similarly, you can then go through and read the documents in this file. But these low-res images, you'll have a little bit of trouble reading them. I can read that one, luckily, but that earlier one for the 42nd Battalion, I couldn't read it. But you can always click on enlarge and it will enlarge it. Okay, so there's lots of war diaries, I'll call them, for Royal Australian Navy ships. I'll just give you a sense of how many there are by going my way down. So we're up to the Bs now. Cs, HMAS Deloraine, famous ship. Flinders, Forceful, it's a tug. It's in the Brisbane River, etc. So you can see there's quite the harbour defence launches that they had as well. Canimbla, lots of them. Seem to be a few more than there used to be, actually. I haven't been here for a while. So lots and lots and lots and lots of ships. HMAS Sydney, I just saw flash past. Okay, so that's the Navy. So I'm nearly finished. What's the time? 8:30. The other resource that I use, it's probably one you wouldn't think to use, perhaps, is YouTube. You'd be surprised what you can find on YouTube. I use it all the time, nearly every day. And you can see it's brought up, because I've been searching things on how to improve Zoom usability, you can see Zoom pops up in my recommended areas. But I'll do a non-aviation, non-military search. You ever broken a key in a lock at home and wondered how to get it out of the lock? Just go to YouTube. I'll type in here, remove broken key from lock. Do a search. There we go. That's how you do it. Pick any one of those videos. That'll show you how to do it. One I was watching today was this one here, using glue gun. You trim the end of the glue gun to a narrow bit about the same shape as the broken key, heat the end of the glue gun with a cigarette lighter so it's pliable and soft, push it onto the end of the key, hold it there for 15 seconds, pull the key out. And it worked. as long as you hold it there for more than 15 seconds. But if we do a search for something aviation related, we'll do a B24 search. There we go. Lots and lots. I don't think it tells us how many results there are, does it? No, but there are lots of videos. Now I only typed B24. There's Unbroken if Bob's still online. But lots and lots of videos. Let's type in how to fly B. I'm going to fix up one word there. How to fly a B-24 Liberator. So there's an instructional film on how to fly, that probably a World War II film, etc. So YouTube is very, very useful for doing research and on various things. So I'll change that to B-17 flying. Oops, can't spell. It still found it though. How to fly the Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress, flight procedures. There's another one, 1943. Okay, so that's pretty much what I wanted to show you tonight. What I'll do now is I'll unmute you all and see if anyone's got any questions. Can you hear me?
Yep.
We can hear you.
Yep.
You got a chance to ask a question.
Righto, who's that?
No questions.
No questions?
Peter, it's Trevor.
Yeah,
I hadn't seen some of those photos you got out of Trove. That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought you mightn't have. What about that marriage photo on Trove? Did you see that?
Yeah, I'd seen a photo that was around the house, but I'd never seen it in the newspaper.
Yeah, and the engagement notice.
Yeah.
What about the photos on the Trove picture website? The ones on the State Library, had you seen those?
Yeah, I think they're probably ones I took to the State Library.
Ah, yeah, okay.
And gave them, yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Peter, for those pictures you had, rather pages on the War Memorial, and it showed you able to go to World War II, of course, and I also saw Afghanistan and Korea movie. Do they have World War I the same way?
Yeah, yeah, yep.
I forgot my dad.
Yep. They certainly do. So what have we got? We've got 27 people still online. There was 30 odd there earlier. Not as many as last time. I don't know why that is. We had 48 last time. Probably not as interesting a topic.
Yeah, about maximum 33. Yeah.
Did we? 33. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't.
At least that was the fun of it.
I was too busy talking.
Yeah, of course.
This is Daryl. I was just going to comment on World War I unit histories. I found researching the Battle of Hamel or Hamel that there's an awful lot of information kept by the at the battalion level. The battalion unit records are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, they are.
They included in their histories things like the battalion newspapers and their sports days and things.
Yep.
It's really good.
Yep. Very good.
With those army records, they've got everybody who went. It's not the only ones with casualties.
Which side are you talking about? You're talking about the Roll of Honour, or you're talking about the?
Well, the information you could see there on World War I people.
In the national.
That was just the Roll of Honour, which is only for deceased people.
Roll of Honour covers all conflicts, right back to the Boer War and the Sudan fight as well. So anyone who died in any of those conflicts will be in that Roll of Honour database. And you should also be able to find the same person on the National Archives website and also on the Commonwealth War Graves website as well. So
Amazing how often when I mention my father was in World War One, people say, "Oh, did he survive?" My answer is usually, "Well, I wasn't born until 1944."
yeah,
But so what I'm getting at is, I might find it harder to find his records because he didn't die.
yeah, yeah. So was my audio good tonight?
Audio is perfect tonight.
Yeah, Peter, can we come out of viewing your screen?
Can we what? Sorry.
Come out of viewing your screen.
Yeah,
So we're back on the page. So this way you see who's talking.
yeah.
It's
no
easier
worries.
to see it. You are talking.
Righto.
I've been following it on your Facebook page. It's going quite well there too.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I haven't checked there. I assume it's still going.
Yeah, I've got two screens, so I've got it on the other one.
Okay.
You have as well.
I'll have to,
For
I'll
some
have
of
to
the
stop that soon.
for some of the people, suggestions from Zoom is if you can afford a headset and microphone, you're going to get much better audio and video to everybody because you'll cut out that feedback.
Yeah, I don't think it was me with the feedback. It was
No, I know
somebody.
who it was. I've got an idea who it was.
Yeah.
It was me.
It was that naughty lady.
Me. I had two apparatus going.
Yes, yes. Right.
Anyway,
I've
if
got
you
two
can-
going as well, but I've got them muted. I've got the other one muted.
Yeah. So I just make the point. I've got this headset microphone. I've had hosted about 4 meetings now, and it's been very effective.
Yeah. Very good.
I found it handy that when you're watching the presentation, to get rid of your video of yourself, so it doesn't distract yourself or others from your presentation. So that's why I went off video.
Yeah, I probably should have asked you all to turn your videos off, but I forgot to do that.
Oh, I think it's worth it. You can watch the looks on their faces.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
All right then. Well, that's been very good. Peter.
Okay, no other questions?
Very good. Yeah, thanks for that, Peter.
Hi, John.
Yep.
Thank
Righto.
you. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey.
See you next Friday.
Peter,
Yes,
Thank you.
yeah.
much appreciated. All right.
See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well done. Okay. Type of message here.
Done by done.
Well done.
Okay, I'm bowing out too. Bye. Good night.
See ya.
Thanks, Peter.
If anyone wants to stay on and talk, hey Jeff, can you stay on, Jeff Nielsen?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, mate. How's things in Townsville?
31 degrees as usual.
Was 32 here today, I think. 34 tomorrow.
Yeah. As you know, Townsville's 20 minimum and 30 maximum, plus or minus about 3 degrees all year.
Yeah, I remember.
The lower stretch of that, the lower limits of that is winter.
Yeah. I can remember when I was in the Air Training Corps up there on a camp at Garbett in January, and this sergeant had us marching over on the tarmac in front of the hangars near our parade ground, number 1 flight parade ground.
Yep.
And it was 101 degrees.
Yep.
And we all said, can we go and march inside the hangar in the shade? And he wouldn't let us go in. Here we were, 15, 16-year-old or whatever we were, dressed up in these heavy, bloody, dark blue overalls in this 101 degree or whatever it was. It was a bloody hot day.
Yeah, it's people love our winter here. We get lots of tourists from the southern states and overseas.
Yeah.
In what would be midwinter.
Yeah.
And it's like 28 degrees, 26 degrees.
Yeah.
We get bad humidity for a few months of the year, usually in about February.
Yep.
But, that's to be
Yeah.
avoided.
So no more air shows for a while, eh?
No more air shows. I've worked on the Avalon Air Show since 2007. I've done a few other air shows. I've visited them around the world. RAF Waddington was very interesting. 2013, I was at Oshkosh. That's just mind-boggling. You can't get your head around it.
What sort of work did you do at Avalon, Jeff?
Avalon, I was working basically for the Aerospace and Defence Expo.
Oh, yeah.
The trade show part of Avalon.
Right.
Which had about a hectare of floor space under canvas, under temporary buildings.
Yep.
And what I was doing there was basically running an in-house television show.
Oh, yeah.
Through a network of speakers and screens scattered throughout the exhibition area.
Mm-hmm.
And much of the time I sat in a little office space.
Yep.
And people would ring me from all over the air show, giving me updates on information, weather alerts, special alerts for pilots and important visitors to the air show, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
I just kept that up to date.
Yeah.
But I still managed to get a lot of time to get around the airfield itself.
Yeah, I've been to Avalon quite a few times now. Hopefully I'll get to the one next year, assuming it's on.
I also did the Illawarra Air Show last year.
Yeah.
Which has now been postponed till probably November, December.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But going back 40 years, I was doing air shows here at Townsville, setting up PA systems and communications, linking the PA system in with the air traffic control and the pilots radio. Most of those were at Woodstock.
Oh, okay.
At the Donington Airport.
Donington, yeah, which is not a World War II airfield. It's in the middle of the World War II airfields, but
yeah, it's between a string of
there were three of them surrounding it.
Yeah, Donington is a private.
Mr. Smith.
District.
Yeah, what's his name?
Ray Smith was the founder. His son Chris organised some of the air shows.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
I know both of those quite well.
So Jeff and I used to live across the road from each other in Townsville. I haven't seen you since around about 1970.
Yeah, that'd be about right.
That's when I left, January 1970.
Yeah.
So quite a while ago.
I've since I've spoke to you and renewed communications with you, I've come up with a couple of other stories and things that you might be interested in.
Right, good.
Things that were missing from your website about the helicopter landing on the salt pan.
Yeah, did you see that? I saw it.
I was inside the helicopter.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I'll talk to you about that sometime.
Is that's over near the sawmill? It came down.
On the area closest to the showgrounds.
Yeah. What were you doing inside the bloody helicopter?
My father was terminal superintendent for Mobil Oil.
Yeah, I remember that.
One of their chief clients was the Ansett organisation.
Yeah.
And when Reg Ansett took over ANA, he inherited some helicopters.
All right.
Some Sycamores.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was a Sycamore.
Yeah. And he was sending them round, or he sent that one round on a sort of promotion tour.
Yeah.
And handed out some free seats for joy flights to some of the business associates.
You were on it.
My father got one, but he was terrified of flying helicopters.
Yeah.
So I managed to get onto that.
Yeah, I was one of the little kids there walking around this bloody helicopter, landing on the salt pan of all places.
Yeah, they only did a couple of flights from the salt pan because it was dry.
Yeah.
And it had that horrible white powdery dust.
Yeah, the salt. Yeah.
So they only did a couple from there, and then moved it out to the Garbutt airfield.
I assumed it must have been an emergency landing.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we flew over the showgrounds, which was in the show was on at that time.
Oh, yeah. So it was in July.
Yeah, we did a loop around the showground area and then went out across the harbour.
Yep.
Back across the face of Castle Hill, Northwood.
Yeah, yeah.
And back round Belgian Gardens.
Yep.
Back to there.
Yeah, very good.
I didn't know anything about it until we arrived there.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? And then a helicopter landed.
Yeah. I might just stop this live stream on Facebook.